YouTuber Daniel Howell has been comically sharing his life online for over 10 years, racking up more than 6 million subscribers along the way. But now he's sharing a brand new side of himself, opening up about his own journey with mental health in the new book, You Will Get Through This Night. Please welcome Daniel Howell. How are you, Daniel? Welcome.
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing better now talking with you. This is an issue that's near and dear to my heart. So we'll start out right now. You started posting videos when you were just 18, but a couple of years ago, you shocked viewers when you took a sudden hiatus. Now tell us about why you started your YouTube channel and what led to the break.
So, like a lot of people, when this whole social media thing started, I never planned for this to be my career. I was making these little comedy videos, telling funny stories from my life, ranting about some topics, and I was just sharing them with my friends. And then as this whole social media thing happened, accidentally started snowballing, and then here we go. I have a career. I didn't plan it. And then it just so happened that I basically had a bit of a quarter-life crisis. I think it's something that happens to a lot of people in their life when you've got problems that you aren't dealing with. Maybe you have a literal skeleton in the closet, as it was in my life, and it starts taking a toll on your mental health. I just couldn't keep going anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to do that very terrifying thing that said, I need to go a bit of a journey of self-understanding to just sort out these issues in my life, because if I keep going, it's not going to last.
It takes an inner strength to recognize that, though, because I fully believe in the quarter-life crisis. But you returned in a big way, posting a video called, basically, I'm gay. What was it like to come out so publicly, and why was it important for you to do that?
I mean, if I had my way, it wouldn't have been public. For someone whose job is talking to audiences, I find it very terrifying, and I don't like people being up in my business. I know I've really made a bad decision here. And the thing with coming out is, you know, a lot of people say, like, why is it always a big deal? But in a world that presumes people are always heterosexual, it's always going to be a surprise. And for someone like me, who'd been out in the public world for like a decade and had these millions of viewers, it was the biggest surprise in the entire world. And I had to do it just to go on my own journey internally, but also the relationship I have with my audience showed me the importance that everyone actually has this amazing power to share their story and to make a difference into the world and to touch the people that may be going through something. So I knew that this wasn't just something I had to do for myself. I had to make it something that could be there for a younger person that may have just been like me.
But I understand why it's not easy to share those intimacies, because you chose a lane. You were doing comedy. You were leaning into that material. That doesn't mean people have the right to completely undress every part of your life. And so I commend you for feeling that need to be transparent. And I encourage people as well, if and when they're ready, that those stories can be very powerful to people watching. Because like right now, we're in the middle of a mental health awareness month, and your book is coming out at the perfect time because you call it a practical guide for mental health. Why did you decide to write this now?
This is the book that I wish I could have read when I was younger, as a 15-year-old, as a 25-year-old, just that it could have saved me so much suffering, because mental health is a universal human experience. It's not just something that applies to people who are seriously anxious or depressed. How we think, how we feel, our relationship with our emotions, these things all have an impact on our health and our happiness. And I think that we all have to know absolutely everything we can to give ourselves the power to make ourselves feel better. So I said, hey, I'm going to write the book that I wish I could have read, that has all the things that I would have read, and also I would have liked to have read, because there's a lot of information out there in the world, but I'm someone that after a long day doesn't necessarily like doing the homework of diving into something really academic. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it funny, even if it's really inappropriate. And I'm actually going to put a lot of myself into it, because mental health, it being such a silent, stigmatized issue, people really struggle to be honest with themselves and to feel comfortable acknowledging the issues they have. So I've gone, hey, I'm going to use myself as an example of someone who's done everything wrong. My life is a mess. Every single tip I give you in this book, I've done the opposite. But that helps. You know, even you just saying that now makes someone at home go, oh, maybe I don't have to feel so weird for being this stressed or for worrying this much, which is why it's so important.
I think the comedy is such a huge element, because this is heady stuff. And when you're veering into your own vulnerabilities, that's a lot. Like when I go to therapy, I'm exhausted when I'm done. So I think the fact that you added comedy to this makes it a little more digestible as people take their first step in. And you wrote this book with a psychologist, and it's broken up into 3 parts. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, definitely. So it was so important to me to have this fact checked and verified and supported by a healthcare professional, because especially when you're talking about mental health, you might have that friend on Instagram who always says the really clever sounding stuff, but it's so important to know that someone knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So this whole book has been thoroughly fact checked, even if I had to delete half of it after I thought I did a really great job. But that means that you can trust and believe that this is all evidence-based stuff. You know, it's not that spiritual. It's not that, you know, here's a nice idea. This is things that people have proven via studies to show you do this, it will have a positive effect on how you feel. And this book is just loaded with practical tips, things that you can try right now that will make a difference. And because mental health is so overwhelming, where do you even start? We broke it into those 3 sections. So it starts with, hey, what is mental health? How does your mind work? Why do you think and feel these things? And the first section is called This Night, and it's about having the tools to manage how you think and feel when you're having a crisis. Because I'm someone that I spend a lot of time up in my head.
Yeah.
I worry a lot, and I go down these little thought spirals where if I think about something, I go, wow, I really want to indulge in that. And I want to think about the worst case possible scenario that could happen, and then I get nothing done in my whole day. And if you practice mindfulness, realize that you are not your thoughts, how to distance yourself from the suggestions that your brain gives you. If you learn the importance of being present, indulging in your senses and experiencing the world so you're not up in your head all day. And even things just like breathing, the effect that our physical body and space has on how we feel, it can allow you to snap out of it. And these are basic tools that could have saved me so many days or weeks of time where I was just trapped in these situations where I felt like I had to indulge these voices in my head. And then the second part is all the practical stuff about changing your lifestyle, so that when you're in a good place and you're like, hey, I want to try something, it goes through every aspect of your life, your social life, sleep, diet, the activity that you choose to do. And it really makes you realize we may not think about it, but every choice you make in your day-to-day life has an effect on how you think and feel. And if you can choose to do something different, you can choose to make yourself feel better. I felt very attacked when I was researching and writing this, when I looked at my own life and realized there's so many, many things that I just wasn't doing right. And even if, you know, some things work for you, some things don't work for you, it's just good to have it all there so you can apply this to your life. And then the third part is the longer term stuff. It's thinking about your childhood, your psychological makeup. Are you dealing with any trauma in your past that's making you go through repeating the same patterns in your day-to-day life? What is your mindset? Are you good at talking to yourself and dealing with your emotions? Or do you have this self-destructive psychology that just makes things worse? And it's a journey from the start to the end that should hopefully let someone have an idea of how to take this power into their own hands. But I want it to be something that people feel they can come back to. I didn't want it to be a book that someone reads once and then they feel like they're cured. It can be there on your shelf. It has that practical exercise you can try out. It has that tip. It has that story that can maybe make you feel less alone if it's something that I've been through. So that this is like the companion that's sitting in your study, because I definitely wish I had something like that in my life.
Well, Daniel, I know that you weren't lucky enough to have something like that, but now you are going to affect so many people that you're kind of solving that problem for people that are hungry to know more, that don't realize that they're not alone. So I commend you for doing this. I think it's amazing work. Thank you. And Daniel's book, You Will Get Through This Night, is available now. A big thank you to Daniel Howell for everything he does, making us laugh, but also making us think and feel more healthy. Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do as well. Have a great day.